If you've been at a grocery store over the past several months, this morning's economic news should come as a surprise. As we noted earlier, the Consumer Price Index rose by 4.2% from a year earlier, the biggest 12-month increase since the summer of 2008. Here to break it down for you, since April of last year, we took a look at this, and the price of gas has gone up almost 50%. Electricity, 3.5%. Food, 2.5%. And clothing, almost 2%. So what's pushing the surge in prices? Well, I think we know the basics, but let's get into the details here, the reality of it all, with Trish Regan. She is the host of the Trish Intel podcast. Go to trishintel.com. Good to see you, Trish.
Good to see you, Buck.
What the heck is going on here? We're getting prices going up. We got an administration that seems to be in disarray. I got Jen Psaki, who knows zilch about economics, telling me, don't worry, it's going to be a transitory inflation. I feel about as good about that as I do when Fauci says a diminution of the mitigation.
Look, I've been saying this all along. You cannot print this much money. You cannot give out this much money. You cannot offer unemployment benefits for, forever, to the tune of $300 a week from the federal government. Thank you, Uncle Joe, without having some effect on the economy, some effect on prices. It's very clear what's going on. The economy is starting to actually get better, right? Because people are just going back to work and doing their normal thing. And so that's the opportunity for Uncle Joe, to scale back on some of his spending. It's the opportunity for the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, to scale back on his money printing, but instead they're just printing money like there's no tomorrow, like dollars grow on trees, and consequently that's depressing the value of the US dollar. It's meaning that it's going to take that much more dollars to buy anything. You just look at the price of copper. Go look at the price of copper. It's the highest it's been since 2011. We are looking at new highs for all kinds of commodities that are priced in dollars, and it's trickling down to consumers via the producers, right? If you're a producer of a certain product, suppose you build houses. Lumber prices are up 300%. You pay more for the lumber, you have to charge more for the house. This is how it works. Econ 101, Jen Psaki should try it. So should President Biden.
Yeah, I think so. We're looking at a lot of cause and effect here, Trish, in the economy that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone who's paying attention. But I do think that Democrats have shown that they believe in magic math at some level, that 2 + 2 does not equal 4 if, it's fair to say it equals 5, right? If you can come up with some rationalization of how these aren't just laws of supply and demand, these aren't just facts of macroeconomics. And I wanted to ask, when you have Psaki coming forward, I think that there is a belief among Democrats, and we could actually look at modern monetary theory as the ideological framework that they lean on for this, that they can just control inflation. How easy is it, Trish? Once inflation starts hitting an economy, does Biden just have some little switch he can hit to say, oh yeah, don't worry about it, we'll make the big bad inflation go away?
You know what? Talk to Paul Volcker about that, the guy who ran the Fed during the 70s, right? When Jimmy Carter's inflation was just so out of control. And what did they have to do? They had to keep upping interest rates. No, you can't just hit a switch. I realize Janet Yellen also, who used to be head of the Federal Reserve, likes to believe in that theory. And apparently they're enforcing it upon Jerome Powell, who's also like, okay, we got tools for that. You don't have tools for that, because once it starts to take off, it takes off. If you do implement those tools, let me add this, as Larry Summers has pointed out, you will decimate the economy in the process, because we've got a little bit of a very fragile asset bubble going on, if you haven't noticed, in the stock market, right? Prices go up, 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 not so much today, because people are realizing now the Federal Reserve might have to do something. It might not be able to offer these low rates for the indefinite future. Consequently, if they up rates, there's less money in circulation that'll pull back on the economy. And this is what Summers has warned about. This is what Janet Yellen is ignoring. This is what Joe Biden is ignoring, Jen Psaki, who clearly doesn't understand any of this. And then there's, of course, some smart people in the room, honest people in the room that are talking about how you can't print your way to prosperity.